Hi, Miss B. I'm
Good
look.
morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I was really impressed with your last lesson, but I want to hear how you felt about it.
Okay. Well, I think it went really well overall for the most part. I know I had a few moments where it seems as if I couldn't reel a few of my students in, but I am working on that. And from our last meeting, I did take some of your advice and exactly some of the strategies that you suggested. So I think I'm doing a little bit better from the last time.
I agree. Just looking back over your data from our past coaching cycles, we started with planning, and I looked at your lesson plans, and I clearly see that you have planned the specifics of your lesson, and that is awesome. Once we moved from planning, we talked about professionalism, and that includes contacting parents to help with classroom management, and then now we are in our classroom management portion, and honestly, we're actually headed out of classroom management. When I observed your class, I noticed you using nonverbal cues. I noticed you redirecting in subtle ways. I noticed the students were really listening to what you had to say. And that lets me know that you're now ready for your next goal. Now,
Okay.
what I aim to do is move you from the classroom environment into instruction in the instructional domain.
Okay.
So what I want to do is do that in a seamless way. To do that, we're going to give you a clear goal. And I'm going to go ahead and let you read your SMART goal for me.
Okay. So my SMART goal is to make my lessons more engaging. I will supplement 2 handouts a week with an activity, play an instructional game every Friday, and have an end of unit summative project. I should see 10% decrease in behavioral problems and a 20% increase in performance on formal assessments.
Awesome job. So the goal is to increase the engagement in your classroom to mitigate behavior problems, but also start to focus on our instruction so we can continue to push students forward academically as well.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about your SMART goal?
No, I think that's a relative attainable goal for me at this point.
Awesome. And so what I want to do is provide you a roadmap to reach this goal.
Okay.
So what I provided is a list of specific activities I want you to implement within your classroom.
Okay.
And I want you to do this until the end of the year, until we feel like you can implement some additional strategies independently.
Okay.
So the first one is the game we talked about. So what we want to do is find a way to engage our students without losing instructional time and also making our lessons and the material we need to cover more engaging. So we have websites such as Kahoot, Quizzes, and Gimkit, and I want you to design games on those platforms for them to play every Friday. Now, This should be instructional based and based off of the curriculum and the things that they have learned that week.
Okay.
This is a great opportunity for you to build in knowledge of the unit text with our guidebooks.
Okay.
So doing this simple activity on Fridays becomes review if you have tests on Friday, but also it builds that knowledge for them to keep reviewing over and over again.
Okay.
Okay, so the second thing I would like you to do is use the jigsaw strategy. Have you used that strategy before?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I provided a link for you to watch a few other people complete the jigsaw activity so you can see how to do it, as well as we'll make time for you to come to my classroom to see how to complete it as well. Now, the benefits of the jigsaw strategy is that it takes a lot of the coursework away from the students. You want to implement the jigsaw strategies on repetitive standards, things that they've seen multiple times and they are close to mastering. Okay. So what happens with jigsaw is that you break them up into groups, and each group is just responsible for a portion of the assignment.
Okay.
And then they come together to share just their portion to create the entire assignment.
Okay.
And so because they already have the background knowledge on that standard, the jigsaw is a great way to save time, to quickly review the standard, and to address a handout in a different way.
Okay.
So I want you to try the jigsaw strategy. And then also what I've noticed is that we need to move your students to more independent work. And the best way to do that is through classroom discussions. As you know, they love to talk.
Yes, they do.
And so what we want to do is give them what to talk about.
Okay.
And so on Mondays, to open up your lessons or whenever you introduce a new topic, I want you to start it with a Socratic seminar or a class discussion. And I want this to go back to a real life connection.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Do you see the effectiveness or how it could be beneficial to start your lessons with a discussion?
Yes, because I think that opens up the unit with what is expected of them even at the end of the unit. So yes, I think that's a good idea.
Awesome. And so what tends to happen is once they're able to verbalize these things, it's easier for them to internalize and then put it down, synthesize, and then apply and create, right?
Okay.
So if we get them at base discussing with a partner, with a class, with a group, then at the end of our unit, our students are comfortable with their opinions and supporting those opinions with facts.
Okay.
So that's our goal for every Monday or every time you start a new topic. We want to have a discussion about it. And then we have to find those real life connections so that can build them, internalize them.
Okay. How long do you think that I should do the discussion every time I open up a new unit?
5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
We do not want this to be the meat of your lesson.
Okay.
We just want to give them enough time to talk, discuss, analyze, and then move forward to apply.
Okay. That's doable.
That's doable?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Even if you want to replace your bell ringer with a discussion on Mondays, that'd be awesome for the students to get the week going, So that's an option as well. And when we look at your planning, we can go back and figure out exactly where the time fits in for your Socratic seminars. All right, and then the last activity I want you all to build into your classroom to build engagement is unit projects. We know we have our accommodating writing test at the end of every unit, but we also want to have something fun and engaging. Now, what I saw that worked in my classroom is the digital escape room. And so we want our children to be technology savvy. It provides an opportunity for them to really dig into that curriculum, especially before their innovative assessment. They get to analyze, they get to think deeper about the curriculum. They go through it piece by piece. It allows them to be creative. And then it allows all the other students to review it as they attempt to break out the escape room.
Okay.
So it really builds the classroom. It builds relationships between the students, because even if their room is a little difficult, they'll embed a hint to help those who struggle, right?
Okay.
And so we're also building relationships within all of these activities. And so their unit project, they need to be working on throughout the unit. You are in A Christmas Carol, so it works as you break it down into sections.
Okay.
So they can build one section at a time as they go through.
Okay. So this will be something that they will begin at the beginning of the unit and just work on throughout the unit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you're going to put them in their groups. They don't have to do this independently. They can work in a group, and then whenever you have a little extra time throughout the week or they finish their assessment, you'd be like, okay, work on your digital escape room. What are your ideas for this week?
Okay.
So again, it gives them a time to kind of step away from the curriculum as far as reading, but still dive into the curriculum.
Okay.
And we want as many experiences in the curriculum as possible. We need 7 novel interactions for it to become embedded. Okay. So the more they interact with it, the better. All right. And so while you're working on these things, how do you feel about this? Is this a lot for you?
No, I don't think it's overwhelming. I know I'll have you to help me with every step of the way, and I can come to you for whatever my questions are. So I think I'm good. I'll be okay.
I'll tell you what, we'll do one at a time, right?
Okay.
So we'll start with your Kahoot, and the only thing you have to worry about that week is your Kahoot. And then we'll move into your jigsaw strategy. So the next week you'll be working on your Kahoot as well as your jigsaw strategy.
Okay.
Then the next week we're going to implement the next one.
Okay.
So by week 4, it'll all be working together as a whole. And the objective is to keep the students so engaged in their learning that it almost eliminates the behavior problems, right?
Okay.
They're looking forward to their game on Friday. They can even design their own questions for this game. So they're trying to make those questions as hard as possible, right?
Okay.
So that's what we're looking for from our students, and it takes less responsibility off of you.
Okay.
So we'll continue to work on it piece by piece. Now, this has to be a measurable goal. So I am going to be checking to make sure we are actually implementing these things in our lesson plans initially.
Okay.
So I will be checking the lesson plans weekly to see, okay, what Kahoot or quizzes game is she playing? Which day of the week did she choose to do her jigsaw? Has she started her classroom discussion for this week? So your planning has to be super intentional to increase engagement.
Okay.
Okay. I'll be looking at your student data and their assessments because we're looking for a 20% increase on their on their performance on their formal assessment. And then I'm hoping to eliminate as much as our behavior problems as we have been having, which have already grown down drastically.
Okay.
All right, so do you have any questions for your coaching plan for our next cycle?
No, nothing that I can think of right off the top of my head. But if I think of something after our meeting, I'll make sure I'll get in touch with you and let you know.
Okay. I want to again say you have been doing awesome, taking on everything that I've been throwing at you. You take it with a smile on your face, and you've been pushing through, and it's shown in you and your growth as a professional as well as your students.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Thank you.